Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Will it stand the test of time? Could it be a marriage of convenience? And to what extent would this feed into speculation that maybe it's something that will breathe a new life in Besigye, who is currently incarcerated? I come to you, Oo.
You have such questions.
I had said that maybe General and Honorable Salam will, at the next round, will give us the 4 basic elements of this cooperation, and then we can talk to them. But where I stand, I think...
I thought Muntu has been elaborate.
No. I mean, on record on air. When the break, he did open his phone and read the 4 items. But I hope he's going to repeat it. He's going to raise it when it comes
behind the scenes.
Yes. But that's actually what he should have stated at the beginning. But let me say this. General Muntu is saying that this time is different. Let's go to the content of the people involved. Are they new people? No, they are not new people.
Is Museveni a new person?
Their method...
Is Museveni a new person?
When you spoke, my sister, I left you to speak.
You know, I don't
they are not new. So the content, their style, their psyche is the same, and they are going to end up in the same destination as they ended the last destination.
I think you're dismissing them.
No. But it's
give them the benefit of doubt.
No, that's why I said earlier on, I said, I hope this time we can take General Muntu's words to the bank and we cash it. That's the benefit of the doubt. If you don't know the
but you're shooting them down.
If you don't know the English expression, that was the benefit of the doubt I gave him as a general statement that I hope this time, you see, they say once bitten, twice shy. I don't think this group of PFF and ANT, they have had 20 years of disagreeing with us in the NRM.
Yeah, but these are
listen.
Senior leaders who have fallen and risen.
Senior or not senior, I am saying they have had 20 years or 25 years now of disagreeing with the mainstream NRM. Over that quarter of a century, they have not come up with the new issues, they have not come up with the new style, and therefore I doubt that they are going to bring new issues with the flavor, new style with the flavor, to make what they are trying to sell palatable. Now, to the general population in Uganda, so that we buy into their cooperation to say, look, maybe let us give them a moment. Let us give them a moment. When you listen to some of them speak, you say, maybe those people shouldn't be touched by even a 10-meter pole. But I did not know that Romishana is a coward. Romishana had actually started his submission well. When General Muntu steamrolled him, he backtracked. Because Romishana was saying, Honorable General Muntu is saying that the art of deception that NRM has perfected over the years. And Romishana said, but you have been part of it. I have been also part of it. In 1989, the General Muntu here told us that to make our politics inclusive, let us make NRC an interim parliament, bring in women, bring in the youth, bring in disabled persons. And the Ugandans club, they said these are good people. They want to include women. In 1990, they turned and said, we have not had the time to write the constitution. Give us 4 further years. What General Muntu now, they are the ones who were leading that in 1990. Remember, Omurongo Waswaziri Twala walked out when NRM extended in 1990. Its term without election. Waswaziri Twala walked out. That's how Honorable Francis Babu came in through a by-election into NRC in the Kampala Central. Semogere got glued. Michael Gagwa of Deep Mobilizers Group was on the streets every day. Then Zerito started tap dialogue. They didn't listen to them that this was a scheme of deception. They said we are going to make a constitution. From 1988, the constitution matured in 1996. 1995 October. And you have seen, General Muntu was very passionate about changing the name of the NRA to UPDF. That answer is still there. We thought these were gentlemen. Now, General Muntu is now telling us that all those, with hindsight now, he's saying it was a scheme of deception. If you have people like that who have built NRM, which has lived, quote and unquote, through deception, why should we trust General Muntu that his cooperation now is not another round, another phase of deception? So, I think Ugandans shouldn't take this. It is a gambit. I said earlier on that this sidestepping, that the main NUP is the main opposition. But he's saying PFF, which was founded a month and a half ago, their negotiation with them
matured first.
The people and with the people who hounded him, he doesn't want to admit that they hounded him out. Let me even say they separated. But by that separation, it means you could no longer live with each other. And remember, the election you're talking about, the disagreement with the power, you had been the president of FDC. Prior to that, you had been the organizing secretary of the FDC. And therefore, you should have solved this strategy of building structures much better, because you had 5 years as the president of FDC.
Okay.
And the principal who was behind power, all of us political activists in Uganda know, was none other than Besigye. Besigye is now the father of PFF, although he's presently supporting somewhere else, but he's the father. For you to tell us that the people who made you separate with the FDC in 2018, you have followed them, and you are actually following them now, in my assessment, from a weaker position.
Okay.
Why? No. Listen.
Yes.
PFF, even just by the current political configuration, is the 3rd largest in parliament and in the country's local government. General Muntu does not have one single dime of a member of parliament. I don't know how many else. Listen.
Focusing on the
No. Let me say ANT. I don't know if they have anybody in the local council 5, either as chairpersons or councillors. So he's joining PFF from a very weak position. He will not be able to pull the strings for the things that are most dear to him, in my view.
As I get to Honorable Sarah,
and therefore,
where do you see this cooperation?
ANT in this cooperation is going to be a lame duck.
How about Besigye? Do you think this could raise Besigye's stake in politics?
Well, even if it raised, NRM is ready to deal with whatever situation that emerges. I don't think Besigye can go back to the Besigye of 2005, 2006, on account of age, on account of failure to manage FDC and the fallout that have been going on that has not stopped. Because remember, FDC, its founding, has in all this, they say we have now had 4 cycles of elections since FDC was founded. It has never increased the number of MPs. It has been going down. Well, FDC was at its highest with 42 MPs. Since that time, FDC has gone down. I think they're now at 32 or 29.
Honorable Salam Musumba,
I don't see them having 20 MPs in the next
Honorable
election.
Salam Musumba, do you see trust as one of the hurdles that you have to counter for this cooperation to take root?
I'll say it to you again, that this cooperation is a serious one, and that it's anchored on trust. It's anchored on a common political DNA, and that we, the people in it, are happy with it. If you all are not happy with it, it's up to you.
Even when people go to church
And I have no reason whatsoever to plead with you to follow me where I am.
Yeah, but we just want to digest it and make it palatable to the viewer
tell
out
me
there.
you want to make what digestible. We have told you we are cooperating. Thank you very much.
But I thought you were supposed to persuade the naysayers.
Listen,
who may include the
it can only be
and the viewers.
It can only be a stone to try to persuade you.
Surely.
Yeah, it's a waste of time. Any day, any time, it's just a waste of time because you are a propaganda tool. You are a propaganda tool of state capture. So I don't even have time to waste with you. I only want to tell you that.
You have given up on me?
No, I have no trust in you. And it's a high-risk business trusting you anyway. And given the deficiency of trust that exists, the deficiency of legitimacy that we all suffer, I just want to tell you Ugandans that, look, you have a good thing that has happened in our times by people that you have looked towards.
We are trying to suck out the good and let the world know that this is the good.
I'll tell you something.
But you're just going in circles.
I don't know what is good to your ears.
What is good?
Cooperation is good just in itself and by itself. Because the opposite of that is war. Would you like to see what is good about war? Disagreement? Disharmony?
Okay. General Muntu said you are agreeing on the bare minimums.
No, I didn't say that.
I'll tell you something.
I say you don't have to agree 100%. So
yes.
where do you get the bare minimum?
So where are the layers of disagreement and the layers of agreement?
Cooperation is only about agreement. Yeah. Do you understand English?
What do you agree
Do you
on?
really understand English?
I mean, as you get to the table, as you get to the round table to negotiate, what are the areas of disagreement that you've chosen to put aside?
We have agreed. One, we wanted a merger, if you want to know. And that's the ultimate goal. It can't be done within the time we have. So we are doing what is legally and administratively possible within the time. Okay?
You will slowly tell you the truth. Slowly tell you the truth. By mistake.
No, it is by choice. You didn't ask me to do so. It's by choice. And you don't know what else I've not said. You don't. You have no clue. Because you see, this gutter politics that you are engaged in all the time, you know, is that you should draw all of us into gutter politics and we discuss gutter issues. We are talking about a country we love. We want to engage with it. We want to counter all these things that we have lived with. Okay? And so, the cooperation you're talking about is what we have chosen to announce to the country, to give it comfort that it is possible for people who have previously disagreed to agree. And I have received feedback from the people, from some people in this country, that they like what they see.
Yeah.
And that's what we are going to work on.
Okay.
Please, if you're not dead,
beyond the
if
signing,
you're not dead,
beyond the signing, what should we expect?
What are you cooperating on? You haven't said it.
We've read you the MOU.
No. You have read when we're off air.
Okay.
I am trying to help you, General.
Don't give me time and I read
but listen, we don't need your help.
If you want us to read
If you don't know.
General Muntu, I'll give you 2 minutes to read out exactly what's in the memorandum.
Yes.
But you should have done homework in bringing up this question.
Yes, I did.
So why didn't you read it?
For the benefit of our viewers.
Listen, we were
from you.
no. Yes. This guy, if he's professional enough, should have come with the MOU.
I have tidbits of your MOU,
And you
which
didn't
is
do
not
nothing.
signed. Which is actually not
You're
signed.
laughable.
Is
You're
it signed?
totally laughable. It is signed.
Okay, so I just want to look at what is signed from General Muntu.
It's not yet been made public, incidentally, because there are 2 colleagues who are not available there, who have not yet signed. Once it is fully signed, then we'll make it public. But I read this one. Why they have not given out the press and all that is that because 2 of the colleagues, one Honorable Kasiano Wadri was not there, and of course our colleague and Honorable Dr. Chiza is in prison. This is going to be taken to him. He will sign, and Honorable Wafula Oguto was not there. When he comes from the US where he is, he also signed. Then the document can be made public, the signed one. Now I'm going to read you what the document is on the minimum program that we're engaged in within this period of the electoral cycle.
I hope the gentleman will get into trouble
For
revealing without authority of the people are supposed to sign.
It's a public
He will
document.
not.
It's a
Okay,
public
fine.
document.
For our
He will
benefit.
not.
I mean, it's just a public document. Only that
He will
it's not
not.
yet signed, so we didn't want to, publicize it. But
The key
well, the
for
preamble, I skip the preamble and go to, it is mutually agreed as follows. ANT and PFF agree to cooperate in the 2026 general elections and to explore the possibilities of fielding joint candidates at all levels, vote protection and related electoral activities. 2, to jointly seek electoral cooperation with other political entities to form a joint electoral platform. 3, ANT and PFF agree to set up a common ground council, CGC, and a technical team to move the process forward using consensus as the basis for decision making. The parties agree to draw up an election charter that will provide for A, constant engagement and consistent communications. B, conflict resolution mechanisms. C, establish a coordinating communications center. D, any other matter they may deem necessary.
Thank you. Honorable Romushana, how do you tie this cooperation agreement into the conversation around the return of President Museveni facing off with Bobi Wine in 2026?
Allow me to respond to Mr. Fonopondo when he said that I became a coward before Mr. Mishamonto. No, I can't. No, there is nothing light in politics. It's not part of me. Cowardice is over. I have faced the National Resistance Army. I think I could have been the first political actor to face the wrath, the violence, the brutality of the National Resistance Army in 1996 and lost people. I survived death narrowly. 2, under the National Resistance Army in its general election, I think the first general election of the National Resistance Army, I won that election. And I was in the CA, but as delegates, we were getting instructions from the caucus and with the NRA. So that's how we operated. I've been around to see this. That's why you see when you are saying we confront that machine, and I say you are involved in the construction of its ideology and base. It's not to blame you, but it's to share experiences. Because you have that experience, you have knowledge. And that knowledge is very instrumental.
So they are well aware of the elephant in the room, and they know.
Yes, that's what I was telling you. Now, when you are dealing with this alliance, this cooperation of theirs, look at it. If you are going to analyze it in its raw form. Don't analyze it from the flowery words of the politicians. First and foremost, Muntu was thrown out of FDC not because of disagreements on strategy. That's incorrect. They were fine with Muntu being president of FDC, but they were not going to let him be the flag bearer. You see? And if you followed their delegates' conferences, was always fire. Now, in the new groupings, this Katonga group, you now don't have Amriat, you don't have Jack Savit, you don't have Nanda Ramafavi, but specifically Nanda Ramafavi. So,
what?
So was Mafavi the big
Meaning
pain?
what?
But you have been here. You've
Meaning
been covering.
what?
You have been covering FDC. You have been covering. Please calm down.
Meaning what?
You covered. Calm down.
No, 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 please.
Yes, calm down.
Is the bull.
Please calm down.
Which bull?
Calm down. So you have a the possibility of cooperation. Actually, what you are now having is a reconciliation between Kizza Besigye and Mugisha Muntu. But in the operating, in the operating situation, the main they don't understand, but for you, please cool down. You know we are need together. In this, the main drivers of the Katonga group, you have Mr. Semjunganda and Mr. Elias Lukwago. None of the two can stand for president.
Why?
As flag bearer.
Why not?
Why? Chira municipality has already gone.
No.
You know, he has already gone. He has, even the posters are already in place. He has already even picked forms. I'm not saying he's not qualified to stand for president. You get my argument. Mr. Elias Lukwago on road wali. They cannot go. And you know the reason why they want to go to the other. So there is now an opening where Mr. Mugisha Muntu can be a flag bearer, but of the Katonga group now, because the Katonga group, as we speak right now, does not have a flag bearer. Even if Kizza Besigye was to come back, he wouldn't, because he was opposed to elections. His strategy still remains
defiance
against elections. You get, but he's going to cooperate. You go and have your own platforms. Otherwise, then you would still have the same disagreements that they had before. So you want to suggest this is Mutu's vehicle now for the presidential election? Actually, the document, the unwritten document, which you probably will not read, is that he will be their flag bearer. Because I have begun by showing you the deficit the other side, that they don't have a flag bearer. SJ is in prison. Even if he was not in prison, he wouldn't be. Elias Lukwago cannot venture into presidency because he is sure he is going to lose and he still wants a job of a mayor.
Yeah, but you would be speculating. When Muntu said,
he says what?
He's in talks with the National Unity Platform. Already as we speak, the National
They
Unity
can't
Platform.
have him as a flag bearer. So the best they can, that's why you see, that's why they are saying, and that's why I wanted to analyze the other critical areas for Uganda's democracy. Why I welcome for democracy, one, voter protection. And I said, even if all of them were to be combined, all of them, they cannot cover 100% of Uganda's polling stations.
Why not?
You can't. You can't. Let's wait for elections. The next round, you will see. Actually, by then, most of the constituencies, Museveni's people will pass through and oppose it.
Yeah, but again, it's also defeatist to imagine that politicians are meant to protect the vote.
This is frontline.
You're simply saying the electoral system is fraudulent to the extent.
He has said that their main objective is to capture, the word capture, power. From who? You see, they went to court. The courts heard the elections were rigged. That was Kizza Besigye. They were together. He was their mobilizer. The same situation still obtains. And he has told you the minimum areas where they are cooperating is on joint candidates.
Fielding joint candidates.
Fielding joint candidates. They cannot have that with FDC. Sorry, with the Chagurani.
Why not?
On president?
Well, it doesn't have to be the president.
Now you see. So you mean the president is not a candidate?
But you have to agree 100% on all.
You see, those slogans of not agreeing 100%. If you are agreeing to capture state power, it has elements to it.
Yeah.
There are some most minimum you must have to capture state power. And if you are talking about elections and you are talking about having 51.1%, 50% plus one vote.
Mr. Rumshan, I want to tie your argument into the odds for President Museveni facing off with Bobi Wine. So far, those are the two that we know who are going to be fielded
odds?
Are you dismissing the cooperation want, that cooperation want to bring
We
a
don't
presidential
have a
candidate?
candidate yet.
But do you realize we have
We
not
don't
even
have a
launched the
candidate
party?
yet, so,
Which
so
one?
he's correct. There are only two who are known
Do you,
now.
do you have a party?
We do.
You have Katonga.
No, they have
We
PFF.
have a,
You have been in a party.
we have, we have
You have been in a party called FDC.
Yes.
Do you call that thing of Katonga party in relation to FDC?
It is
If you
registered.
couldn't use the vehicle of FDC, where you are with Mugishamuntu, you were with Chiza Besije, the ground, the operating ground was more favorable than it is today, and you couldn't even come close to Nakasero.
Okay, Charles, where things stand now, we have a reunion between Muntu and Katonga.
Against who?
On the other side, we have
must it be against?
Robert Chagulanyi,
You are
who
going
says
to
he's
capture.
ready
You
to
don't
breastfeed
capture state
from-
power from a vacuum. Someone has that state power. He's a machine.
And we are machines.
Yes, and
So-
that's
so
why I'm
you want to
analyzing
say-
you.
you-
I am not dismissing.
do you want to say he can't be defeated?
Which one? By?
The this cooperation, a united force,
Do you
a united front.
ask Mr. Monti, he will tell you that the way we are operating, we can't. If he's very honest, he will tell you can't remove Mr. Museveni through election. When he doesn't even have capacity. They stopped him from campaigning in the Rwenzolis, didn't they?
I think different.
No, didn't they stop him from campaigning in the Rwenzolis?
He thinks
You
different.
see, I think
It's
different.
a
Hear him
question
out.
of thinking.
Hear him out.
Because you see, the difference between myself and Honorable Rumshana. Honorable Rumshana seems to think that the prevailing current situation as it is now, while it can be an impediment now, that it remains static.
And insurmountable.
I never
No,
think like
it's
that.
surmountable.
I never look at that. That's why I continuously and permanently remain in the mode of preparation, building.
Charles, I want you to
Because-
wind up and I
Yes,
go to...
you see. So
I
you are
thought you had finished.
you are talking about joint candidates. Most minimum parliament closed 500 seats. For the youths already they are out. The youths, because you need 3 youths per sub-county. That is the chairman of the youth, the secretary, and the secretary for treasury, the
Is
secretary
there
of finance.
power in those youth structures?
No, I mean, I'm talking about they make
there.
MPs. They make MPs.
Is there power?
Now those MPs you can't have. You don't have MPs for the army.
Why?
I mean, did you operate in the youth structures? Are you there? You know you are not
Oh,
there.
let me ask you, if you are a candidate for the youth seat, must you be in the structures?
I'm saying I'm talking about winning. The NRM will win them because they are there. You are not there. You are still on a document you haven't even signed. Now on voter protection, that one we have already analyzed. Now then you have the joint council. The other council which he has talked about. Of course, we haven't even analyzed its purpose. Or maybe they want to have the council and then they begin thinking through what the council ought to do. You get that's why you see you need to analyze the critical elements they are waiting for to sign. The likes of Wafuru, they have to be. That where Salam Sumba, former vice chairperson FDC, Eastern or the whole country, that even when they sign, Bafogutu must still sign. Because those elements, those individuals are critical. They are as
to the
no, it's not a question of mattering, that they are organizations in themselves. They are more or less like organizations in themselves. It's still the cult of individuals. That's why I am analyzing the weight of the cult of those individuals in relation to Mr. Museveni.
May I ask a question?
If you
As
may.
Comrade Rumshana, do you ever see anything positive on the side of the opposition?
Do we have it?
Okay. At least, honestly, we understand where you are.
No, I mean, Mr. Muntu, really.
I am satisfied with his response.
Please. In relation, I'm not
He is
comfortable.
satisfied.
I am not comfortable
I am
with
satisfied.
you deceiving yourself.
I am okay with that.
That you believe you are contesting the power of Mr. Museveni, fused in the other state the way it is, in this mode.
You seem to...
That you mobilize, Mchamuntu, with your experience, that you are mobilizing Madam Salam Musumba and Kila Besije and Wafuru Gutu and you are now going to generate a critical force, and Mr. Museveni surrenders, or he runs to exile, or you capture him. Really, because if I hadn't seen you operate before, I've seen you operate.
Thank you.
In other words,
thank you.
In other words, the question is that I know what ought to be done. Don't ask me why I have not done it. Probably you don't have capacity to do it, but at least I know. So you have milk, it's overflowing. First strategy is pouring water. It will come down. The more you do it, it will become too watery. So it loses the taste of the milk. The second method is to withdraw the firewood. And the third one is to pour water in the firewood. I stand for...
We're now seeing new frontiers towards cooperation, and the old story about the return of President Yoweri Museveni for the 7th term. He'll face off with Robert Kyagulanyi for now. Where do you see 2026? General,
Situation is still evolving, and we're also organizing. But let me first go back to maybe shed some light on the issues which were raised. First by OO, because he preferred to go back to 89 during NRC. I hope you know that NRC had wanted to make itself, turn itself into a constituent assembly. I hope you know the story.
Yes, I know the story.
I was part of those who resisted that and said we need to expand, and we successfully did that.
Actually, many of you, the historicals, are the ones who resisted.
Yeah.
The newcomers into NRC had wanted to be made the same because they were fearing elections. Yeah.
And then we expanded.
Yeah.
Then we went into the constituent, the CA, and maybe naively we believed that when you require 2/3 to change what we had put there deliberately, like term limits, that's why we made an error. But we knew that no individual is perfect. That's why we wanted term limits. I was part of those who pushed for term limits. You even talked about our attempt to change the name from NRA to UPDF. You know, there was a lot of fighting even on that. The Minister of Defense was supporting at that time, who was in CA, was supporting for maintenance of NRA. And we were pushing to have UPDF as the beginning of a delinking process between the army and NRM as an organization. We looked at that as a process. And then elections which happened thereafter. Of course, in Chankwazi, we were overwhelmed. We found we were in a minority. When it came to 2004, when they successfully started grounds for amending the constitution to remove the term limits, I was there personally. I was part of the representation of the army with J.J. Odong. I didn't have to speak, but I was compelled to stand out and speak. I advised General Museveni the direction which I thought we needed to take. We were overwhelmed again. Actually, the out of 400 people who were there, those of us who had come from the bush were less than 50. I don't think we're even more than 20. I don't think we even reach 20. So when we talk about deception, there are those who were in it at the beginning, who have sustained it, but you also need to recognize that there are those of us who really wanted to change the politics of the country.
What would you say of you people
who
have made that cry, that deception? How come at each turn you get outfoxed?
It's an organizational question, and the attitudes and the culture of the elite. Even as we speak now, that's why we keep on voicing out this issue and saying, look, because leaders are a reflection of the people they represent. So any problems we see currently in the country, the population itself needs to understand that they are part of the problem. Because the nature of the leaders they send are the ones who create the problems which the people are crying about. However, there are those of us who believe that however a situation difficult may be, You have to keep organizing. You have to keep talking. You have got to keep pushing, because it's a constant struggle. Since the beginning of time, we have had this contention since the beginning of time. There are always two kinds of people in any society. There are those who are driven by selfish motives. There are those who believe that the only way they can prosper in life is to focus on building the collective or society. That when society prospers, they also prosper. As we speak, those who believe in that are many, but not well organized. Those who are driven by selfish motives are the ones in control. They're the dominant force. So we have to keep struggling and doing everything humanly possible to shift the balance of forces in favor of those who want to advance the interests
I would love
of society.
to pick your take
So
on
even
President Museveni's
Yes.
return for the 7th term.
what? Go ahead.
I would love to pick your analysis on President Museveni's bid for a 7th term.
Yes.
What does it really mean to the country?
Well,
Would it
it's
be
going,
just
to be,
any other election?
it's going to be dependent on one, the elite. What do they think? What do they want? I bump into many. Out of 10, 7 are disenchanted. They think the country is going the wrong direction. But out of those 7 who say that, about 5 still you find them going on the gravy train. I bump into many of our candidates, for example, in the West, those who are riding on the NRM, and I talk to them. I say, but okay, I know the way you think. Do you believe in what is going on? They say, Muntu, I don't. So I ask them, why don't you boldly stand out? He says, if I stand out, I will not be able to go through. So it boils down again to the nature and character of the elite in our country. But we cannot tire, because this is our country. As I indicated at the beginning, we are going to hit about 100 million people down the road. What happens? If we don't have people who keep fighting, organizing, in spite of whatever difficulties there might be in our way, we cannot sit back and see a country go down the tubes just because the situation seems to be difficult. As Rumshana says, I know many things which Rumshana also knows. I know the construction of the state. I know how it's been captured. But at the same time, I know that when you have people who are resilient, who are focused, who are conscious of their mission, that eventually they'll be able to tilt the forces of change in their favor, and they can overwhelm a regime. Look, and by the way, nobody can right now can say what is going to happen down the road. Genome 7 doesn't know. I don't know. But dynamics of change are operating. They always do.
Thank you. When you look at the dynamics as we head into 2026, what does this election present to the country?
Well, first of all, I may just repeat myself. What the cooperation of the and PFF. Yeah. While the posture, the public relations for it is one, to tackle the NRM and its malaise, to tackle Museveni and his longevity and his drive to take Uganda down, according to General Muntu. I think inside PFF and ANT, their main issue is to find how do they occupy what they see as a vacuum and prevent NOP and the DF.
But they're reaching out to
listen. You see, there's what we call lip service. There's what we call lip service.
When it succeeds, then what will you say?
Yeah. They will now become a junior partner on account of the time they are joining, because they will come. They will come when certain things have been settled.
No.
Well, if you are going to open each time a new partner comes in, you open the negotiations afresh. From what you have read here, joint candidates, vote protection, and any other matter, between now and the time Justice Baaba has announced for nomination of candidates, is less than 2 months. It's less than 2 months. I don't see that negotiation based on good research, verifiable research, where you will agree harmoniously, even 30%, to field joint candidates, where a candidate, of, for example, of A&T or PF or NUP agrees to stand down and say, here, from our research, it is the PFF which should do. I don't see that happen. Also, I don't see you even having a credible, let alone the number Jerome is talking about, to do the so-called vote protection or posting polling agents, credible polling agents. I think it would be an opportunity for NRM to infiltrate that.
I know you are planning.
Your agents, and even give you candidates.
I know.
Yeah, and because now we can
sound proud of your mischief.
I know.
That's not mischief. That's a stratagem. That's a political stratagem. So,
but we will
basing on the 2.5 decades we have been with the Muntu and the Honorable Sarah Musumbas, I know for a fact they are big talkers. They don't have what it takes to do what they are saying. Yes, the situation can evolve and can change, and then NRM can be open. But for now, I don't think Honorable Sarah Musumba, General Muntu have politically what it takes to knock the bottom out of NRM or Museveni.
What will 2026 be like with all these forces emerging?
You remember the other gentleman who said that in 2011, when they asked him, why don't you join and have one presidential candidate? What did he say? He said, it is better I start so that we give Museveni multiple headaches. Where is he? So, where is he? You can go to your history notebook and revise. You will find who said.
And then speculation, eh?
No, history notebook.
Speculation.
Yes. So, I see that these guys are hoping that maybe NRM will fail to manage the politics and something will either explode from outside or implode from inside. They did not see, you see, when SEC of NRM went to Nwoya, that park there, Chobe, and made that resolution and said, we endorse Yoweri Museveni as our sole candidate for 2026.
And beyond.
And beyond. These guys went to sleep. They thought that was for fun. They
no, it was 2021 and beyond.
Yes. They did not know that was for real. Now,
but we know that it's a life presidency project.
But also, just remember, when you are discussing NRM and you're discussing Museveni, I think don't see Museveni just the individual.
It's the system.
See Museveni, the system of the NRM.
Yes,
I agree with Muntu that there are people on the brevet train.
Yeah.
But there are also a sufficient number who know what they are doing and they think and they know, we know that probably in this time, in this season, Museveni is the clean and steady pair of hands, both for NRM and for Uganda.
Those are
now,
the minority.
Yeah. Now, if we fail to manage the situation in front, that would be a completely different ballgame. But for now, I want to believe that majority of us, particularly in the leadership, and by the way, and even in the country, the ordinary people, believe either rightly or wrongly that Museveni is the clean pair of hand, is the able pair of hand. And if you can demonstrate to them, particularly the ones outside NRM, that you are capable, you are the able